What if the secret to success isn't luck, talent, or even hard work, but the first hour of your day? This audiobook reveals the hidden power of the 5 a.m. habit. It shows you how to unlock unstoppable focus, energy, and momentum. Your future is waiting. Will you rise to meet it? Hello. Welcome to the 8th episode of the Grow Every Week podcast presented by Splendor, where we explore life-changing ideas and practical strategies from a powerful new book every single week. If you want to listen to the full audiobook in Hindi, click the link in the description below. Introduction. Imagine this. While the world sleeps, you're already up, planning, executing, transforming. The streets are quiet. The air is crisp. There's a rare stillness in the early morning that feels like a secret only the successful have discovered. It's in these early hours that empires are built, ideas are born, and lives are changed. So, here's the real question. Are you ready to join the revolution? We live in a world that tells us success is complicated, that you need the perfect strategy, timing, and connections. But what if that's not true? What if the real secret to success isn't about perfection at all? What if everything you want, more time, more focus, more success, is hidden in the simplest shift you can make? That shift begins the moment your alarm rings at 5 a.m. Waking up at 5 a.m. means choosing discipline over comfort, growth over stagnation, and victory over mediocrity. If you're skeptical, I understand. You've heard it before. Waking up early is overrated. I'm just not a morning person. I work better at night. But here's the truth most people won't tell you. Your habits are either making you unstoppable or keeping you stuck. The world's most successful people, CEOs, athletes, billionaires, top performers, don't wake up early because they have to. They do it because they can't afford not to. Why waking up early changes everything. Think about the most productive people you admire. Do you really think they're rolling out of bed at noon, reacting to their day instead of leading it? Of course not. They're ahead of the game before the rest of the world even wakes up. Waking up at 5 a.m. isn't just about being an early riser. It's about taking control of your life before the day takes control of you. Science supports this too. Studies show early risers have higher levels of willpower, greater proactivity, and better decision-making skills. At 5 a.m., you tap into the power of deep, undistracted work. This gives you the chance to focus on your most important goals, before distractions, notifications, and responsibilities drain your energy. You stop playing defense with your time and start going on the offense, attacking your goals with laser-sharp focus. And let's be honest, most people waste their mornings. They hit snooze 5 times, scroll through social media, and stumble into the day with no direction. But you're different. You're here because you want more time, more success, and more control over your life. How this audiobook will guide you. This isn't just another book about waking up early. This is your blueprint for mastering the 5 a.m. habit and turning it into your secret weapon for unstoppable success. Inside, you'll discover the psychology behind why waking up early rewires your brain for success, and how night owls can become morning champions. A step-by-step, proven plan to make waking up at 5 a.m. effortless, even if you currently hate mornings. The exact morning routines of the world's highest achievers, and how to build your own unbreakable version. How to use the first 60 minutes of your day to multiply your productivity, focus, and energy. The hidden power of momentum stacking. How small wins at 5 a.m. can create massive breakthroughs in every area of your life. But here's the catch. Just listening won't change your life. Taking action will. If you commit and apply what you learn, 1 month from now, you won't just be more productive. You'll be stronger, sharper, and more in control than ever before. Common myths about early rising, and why they're wrong. Let's bust some of the biggest myths about waking up early. I'm just not a morning person. Truth. Being a morning person isn't genetic, it's a learned habit. Your body and brain can adapt faster than you think. I get my best work done at night. Truth. You might feel that way, but studies show willpower and cognitive function decline as the day goes on. Your mind is at its sharpest in the morning. I need 8 hours of sleep, so I can't wake up early. Truth. Waking up early isn't about sacrificing sleep. It's about sleeping smarter. 6 to 7 hours of quality rest can be more effective than 8 or more hours of fragmented sleep. I've tried before, but I always fall back into old habits. Truth. You didn't fail. You just didn't have the right system. This audiobook will give you fail-proof strategies to make early rising sustainable and effortless. This isn't just a book. It's a wake-up call, literally. The decision you make today can change the entire course of your life. You can keep hitting snooze, repeating the same cycle, and wondering why success feels just out of reach. Or, you can rise, take control, rewrite your story, and become unstoppable. The force you were meant to be. The revolution starts now. The only question is, are you in? Chapter 1. The Science of Waking Up Early. The human body is guided by an internal timekeeper called the circadian rhythm, a 24-hour biological cycle that influences nearly every function in the body, including sleep patterns, hormone production, and mental alertness. This internal clock is regulated mostly by exposure to light and darkness. It determines when you feel awake, when you become sleepy, and even how your metabolism performs throughout the day. Many people struggle to wake up early because modern habits have disrupted their circadian rhythm. Factors such as late-night screen time, irregular sleep schedules, and inconsistent bedtimes throw the body off balance. However, when you align your lifestyle with this natural rhythm instead of working against it, you can unlock a state of peak performance, where waking up early feels natural instead of exhausting. The benefits of aligning with your body's clock. Scientific research shows that people who wake up early and maintain a consistent sleep routine experience improved cognitive function, better emotional regulation, and enhanced immune system performance. Waking up at the same time every day, especially at an optimal time like 5 a.m., helps your body establish a stronger, more predictable rhythm. This results in steady energy throughout the day instead of unpredictable waves of fatigue. Your body's master clock, located in the suprachiasmatic nucleus of the brain, responds to environmental cues like sunlight to regulate hormones such as cortisol and melatonin. Cortisol, often called the wake-up hormone, peaks in the early morning, giving you the alertness needed to start your day. But if you wake up late or use inconsistent alarms, you disrupt this process, leading to grogginess instead of energy. Melatonin, the hormone that signals it's time to sleep, is suppressed by exposure to blue light from screens. That's why many people find it hard to fall asleep at a reasonable hour. Artificial lighting tricks the brain into thinking it's still daytime. By waking up at 5 a.m. and managing your exposure to natural and artificial light, you train your body to produce melatonin at the right times. This results in deeper, higher quality sleep and an easier time waking up in the morning. The benefits go beyond just feeling more awake. They include stronger immunity, improved focus, and a lower risk of chronic conditions like heart disease and obesity. The brain's peak performance window. Neuroscience research has shown that your brain performs at different levels depending on the time of day. One key discovery is that cognitive performance follows a natural rhythm, with peak alertness occurring within 1 to 3 hours after waking. This period, often called the brain's golden window, is ideal for deep work, problem solving, and creative thinking. By waking up at 5 a.m., you can take full advantage of this high-performance window while the rest of the world is still asleep. You get the chance to complete meaningful, high-value work without interruptions. Studies have found that early risers tend to have better problem-solving skills, stronger memory retention, and greater emotional resilience. This is partly because the prefrontal cortex, the brain region responsible for decision-making and rational thought, is most active in the morning before it's taxed by the demands of the day. Mood, motivation, and the role of neurotransmitters. Waking up early also affects the brain chemicals that influence mood and motivation. Dopamine, the reward chemical, is released in higher amounts in the morning. It contributes to motivation and a positive outlook. Serotonin, which helps maintain emotional balance and reduce stress, is also at its most effective early in the day. In contrast, people who wake up late often have imbalances in these neurotransmitters, leading to low energy, irritability, and difficulty concentrating. In addition, sticking to a morning routine builds discipline and creates a positive psychological loop. When you start your day with structure and achievement, you feel more productive and confident throughout the day. That's why so many high achievers, CEOs, elite athletes, and creatives swear by the 5 a.m. habit. It gives them a clear mental edge. By mastering your mornings, you tap into your brain's peak performance and increase your ability to think clearly, plan effectively, and execute with precision. Sleep cycles and energy levels. A common myth about waking up early is that it leads to sleep deprivation. But in reality, it's not just about when you wake up, it's about how you structure your sleep. Sleep occurs in repeating cycles, each lasting about 90 minutes, and includes light sleep, deep sleep, and REM sleep, rapid eye movement, which is critical for processing information and consolidating memory. Waking up in the middle of a cycle, especially during deep sleep, can lead to sleep inertia, a state of intense grogginess and confusion. On the other hand, waking up at the end of a sleep cycle, particularly after REM sleep, leaves you feeling alert and refreshed. That's why a consistent bedtime that aligns with your wake-up time is crucial. If your goal is to wake up at 5 a.m., your bedtime should allow for full 90-minute sleep cycles. This typically means going to bed around 9:30 or 10 p.m. The power of early rising, energy, identity, and habit formation. Optimizing the wake-up process. Another important factor in maintaining high energy levels throughout the day is how you transition from sleep to wakefulness. This transition is often impacted by sleep inertia, the grogginess you feel upon waking. Fortunately, you can minimize it through a few simple, intentional actions. Get natural sunlight exposure. Stepping outside for just a few minutes in the morning helps signal to your body that it's time to be alert. Sunlight triggers a chain reaction in the body that suppresses melatonin, the sleep hormone, and boosts cortisol, the wakefulness hormone, in a natural and sustainable way. Hydrate immediately. During sleep, your body becomes mildly dehydrated. Drinking a glass of water as soon as you wake up helps rehydrate your cells and jumpstart your metabolism, leading to a quick boost in energy. Move your body. Light stretching or a short burst of exercise increases blood flow and oxygen to the brain, helping you shake off grogginess and become alert more quickly. Understanding social jet lag. Another key factor that affects your energy and consistency is social jet lag. This occurs when your sleep schedule shifts significantly between weekdays and weekends. For example, waking up at 5 a.m. on weekdays but sleeping in until 9 a.m. on weekends throws off your internal rhythm. This constant back and forth creates a state of internal misalignment, making it harder to maintain stable energy levels and undermining the benefits of an early morning routine. To fully embrace the 5 a.m. habit, it's essential to keep a consistent wake-up time, even on weekends. Doing so allows your body clock to fully adjust, giving you the long-term benefits of improved energy, mental clarity, and productivity. When done correctly, waking up early doesn't lead to exhaustion, it leads to sustained energy, a sharper mind, and enhanced performance that positively impacts every area of life. Chapter 2. The Psychology of Habit Formation. How habits shape identity. Habits aren't just repetitive actions, they are the foundation of who we become. They form the invisible structure of our lives, influencing how we think, behave, and even see ourselves. Every decision you make, from how you start your day to how you use your time, is influenced by deeply embedded habits. According to research, about 45% of our daily actions are not conscious choices, but automatic routines. This is why adopting the 5 a.m. habit isn't just about waking up early, it's about reshaping your identity. If you begin to see yourself as someone who wakes up early, takes charge of the day, and works toward long-term goals, your self-image starts to align with that belief. And that shift is powerful. Identity-based versus outcome-based habits. There's a key difference between identity-based and outcome-based habits. Saying, "I want to wake up early," focuses on the action. Saying, "I am an early riser," focuses on who you are. When your habits align with your self-image, they become more sustainable. You don't rely on willpower alone. Your actions feel natural because they reflect who you believe yourself to be. The strongest, most lasting habits are those that reinforce your sense of identity. The role of self-image in habit success. Successful individuals often build habits that align with their vision of themselves. Athletes train daily, not just to stay in shape, but because they see themselves as athletes. Writers write consistently, not because they're forced to, but because writing is part of their identity. The same is true for early risers. Once you begin to see yourself as someone who naturally wakes up at 5 a.m., the habit stops feeling like a struggle. It becomes intrinsically motivated, not driven by pressure or external rewards. That's when real transformation happens, not just in what you do, but in how you see yourself. Each morning that you wake up at 5 a.m. reinforces your new identity. Over time, this strengthens the neural pathways in your brain, making the habit easier and more automatic. How to make waking up early a lasting habit. Eliminating internal resistance. When you change how you see yourself, you remove the internal resistance that often causes people to give up on new routines. This shift in self-perception allows the habit to take root and grow. We'll now continue exploring the psychology of habit formation, diving deeper into how habits are formed and how to make them stick. Each paragraph will aim to be detailed, logical, and engaging. The 21/90ths rule. How long does it take to build a habit? One of the most common myths about habit formation is the idea that habits form quickly. Many people believe that repeating a behavior for a few days or weeks is enough to make it automatic. However, psychological research tells a different story. The 21/90ths rule is a well-known guideline that suggests it takes 21 days to build a habit. It takes 90 days to turn that habit into a permanent lifestyle change. This principle is based on how the brain forms neural pathways. For a new behavior to shift from a conscious effort to an automatic routine, it requires consistent reinforcement. In the first 21 days, the brain often resists change. The new habit feels unfamiliar, uncomfortable, and even unnecessary. That's why many people give up during this phase. But those who continue for 90 days give their brain enough time to rewire. At that point, the behavior starts to feel natural. It becomes part of their identity and requires far less effort to maintain. Why this timeline works? Neuroplasticity explained. The science behind the 21/90ths rule lies in neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself through repeated action. For example, if your current habit is waking up at 7 a.m. and staying up late, your brain is conditioned to expect that routine. When you start waking up at 5 a.m., it resists. But each time you override the old habit, your brain begins to form new neural connections. In the first few days, waking up early feels difficult. After 3 weeks, it starts to feel more natural. By 90 days, your brain has fully adapted, and the behavior becomes automatic. This is why patience and consistency are essential. Habit formation isn't about overnight results. It's about long-term transformation. Overcoming resistance and mental blocks. Resistance is a natural part of building any new habit, especially a major one like waking up at 5 a.m. The brain is wired to seek comfort and stick to familiar routines. Any major change triggers pushback. This resistance often shows up as self-sabotage, excuses like, "I didn't sleep well," or labels like, "I'm just not a morning person." These thoughts aren't facts. They're mental blocks designed to protect your comfort zone. The key is to recognize resistance for what it is, a temporary obstacle, not a permanent limitation. Strategies to stay on track. To overcome resistance, use pre-commitment strategies, decisions made in advance to support your habit. Examples include setting multiple alarms, placing your alarm clock across the room, and preparing your clothes or breakfast the night before. These small decisions act as psychological cues, making it easier to follow through in the morning. Another powerful method is habit stacking. This means linking your new habit with an existing one. For instance, drink your coffee right after waking up, journal immediately after brushing your teeth, or meditate after making your bed. By tying your 5 a.m. routine to something you already do, you make it easier to integrate the new behavior into your life. The habit loop. Cue, routine, and reward. Understanding the habit loop is essential for building habits that stick. This model explains how most habits function, using 3 core components. Cue, the trigger that initiates the behavior. This could be the sound of your alarm, a preset sunrise lamp, or placing your phone outside the bedroom. The most important part is consistency. If your cue changes daily, your brain struggles to form a habit. Routine, the actual behavior or habit. In this case, it's waking up at 5 a.m. The more consistently you repeat this action, the more it becomes embedded in your routine. Reward, the positive feeling or outcome you get from completing the habit. This could be the sense of accomplishment, extra time for personal growth, or simply the peace and quiet of an early morning. When you design your habit loop with intention, the behavior becomes easier and more sustainable. It shifts from something that requires effort to something that happens naturally. Mastering the morning, building a habit that lasts, remove friction to beat decision fatigue. One major challenge people face when trying to build a routine is decision fatigue, the mental exhaustion that comes from making too many small decisions. This can easily derail your morning habits. The solution: remove as much friction as possible. That means laying out your workout clothes the night before, setting up your journal in a specific spot, automating your alarm system. The fewer decisions you have to make in the morning, the more likely you are to follow through. By simplifying your environment, you allow your routine to run smoothly, without hesitation. Reward, the final step that seals the habit. This is the third and most crucial part of habit formation: reward. The brain craves immediate gratification. To make waking up at 5 a.m. sustainable, you need to connect it to something that feels good right away. For example, enjoy a warm cup of coffee, savor the silence of early morning, take a few moments for quiet reflection or journaling. When your brain links waking up early with a pleasant experience, the habit becomes self-reinforcing. Over time, the process becomes automatic. You stop relying on willpower because your mind has been trained to expect a cue, a routine, and a reward. Why identity is more powerful than action. The biggest mistake people make when trying to build a habit is focusing only on the action, not the identity behind it. If you treat waking up early as just another task, it will always feel like a struggle. But the moment you begin to see yourself as someone who naturally wakes up at 5 a.m., takes control of the day, and values discipline, everything shifts. It no longer feels like a chore. It becomes part of who you are. Delayed gratification. A key to lasting success. One of the most powerful mindset shifts is learning to embrace delayed gratification, the ability to give up short-term comfort for long-term success. Every major achievement in life, whether it's building a career, getting fit, or mastering a skill, requires the discipline to prioritize future gains over immediate pleasure. Waking up at 5 a.m. is a symbolic practice of this mindset. It represents choosing growth over comfort, purpose over convenience, self-mastery over complacency. Committing to this habit isn't just about changing your wake-up time. It's about transforming how you relate to discipline, productivity, and your future. The 5 a.m. habit is about who you become. The 5 a.m. habit is not just about mornings. It's about who you become through the process. It's a declaration that you are someone who takes ownership of your time, your energy, and your life. As you internalize the psychology of habit formation, remember, success doesn't come from willpower alone. It comes from systems, identity, and consistency. Apply these principles, and you won't just master waking up early, you'll build a life rooted in intentionality, discipline, and excellence. Chapter 3: Mastering the Morning Routine. Why a structured morning matters. The first hour of your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Each morning is a fresh start, a chance to shape your thoughts, focus, and energy. Yet many people approach their mornings passively. They hit the snooze button, check their phones immediately, rush through their routines without any real purpose. This chaotic start leads to mental clutter, stress, and disorganization. The rest of the day feels reactive instead of intentional. But those who master their mornings understand a powerful truth. The early hours are the most focused and distraction-free time of day. It's the ideal window for deep thinking, creativity, and meaningful progress. Use your morning for what matters most. A structured morning isn't about strict discipline. It's about optimizing your energy, clarity, and motivation. Neuroscience shows that your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making and creativity, is at its peak early in the day. That's why intentional morning routines can lead to higher productivity, lower stress, stronger emotional resilience. By starting your day with habits like journaling, exercise, meditation, or learning, you align your actions with your long-term goals and values. Design a routine that works for you. To master your mornings, focus on creating a routine that energizes you rather than drains you. Every activity should serve a purpose, not just fill time. When built intentionally, your morning routine becomes a source of stability, a launch pad for focus, a momentum builder for the rest of your day. Instead of being ruled by chaos or chance, your day begins with clarity and direction. The science of cortisol and morning energy. Biologically, mornings are the body's peak performance window. Yet, many people sabotage this natural rhythm by engaging in behaviors that drain their energy instead of enhancing it. One of the most important physiological factors to consider when designing a morning routine is cortisol, the hormone that regulates alertness and wakefulness. Around 30 to 45 minutes after waking, cortisol levels naturally rise, creating a state of heightened awareness, focus, and energy. This phenomenon, known as the cortisol awakening response, CAR, is the body's built-in system to help you feel awake and ready to take on the day. However, if you wake up and immediately expose yourself to stress, such as checking emails, scrolling through social media, or skipping breakfast, this natural energy boost is disrupted. This disruption can lead to sluggishness and mental fog. To maximize morning energy, it is essential to align your routine with your body's natural biological rhythms. This means avoiding stimulants like caffeine too early, allowing natural light to regulate your circadian rhythm, and engaging in movement to activate your nervous system. Small adjustments, such as stepping outside for 5 minutes of sunlight exposure or drinking water before coffee, can significantly improve morning alertness and help prevent the midday energy crashes many people experience. By understanding how your body works in the morning, you can design a routine that amplifies your energy instead of depleting it, setting the stage for a productive and focused day. Designing the ultimate morning routine. A powerful morning routine is not about complexity or length, it is about efficiency and alignment with your personal goals. While some successful people swear by elaborate rituals, the most effective routines are simple, sustainable, and purposeful. A well-structured morning routine consists of 3 essential pillars. Mental priming. Engage in activities that set a positive and focused mindset for the day. This could include journaling, meditation, gratitude exercises, or reading something inspiring. The goal is to clear mental clutter and replace it with clarity and purpose. Physical activation. Movement is crucial to jumpstart your body's energy systems. Whether it's a full workout, stretching, or a short walk, physical activity boosts circulation, enhances focus, and releases endorphins, setting a positive tone for the day. Strategic planning. Instead of jumping into tasks reactively, take a few minutes to review your priorities, set clear objectives, and create a roadmap for the day. This simple step reduces decision fatigue and ensures your time and energy focus on what truly matters. Each person's ideal morning routine will differ based on lifestyle and priorities, but the fundamental principles remain the same. Eliminate distractions, fuel both mind and body, and set a clear direction for the day. The role of consistency in building momentum. A morning routine only works if practiced consistently. One common mistake is expecting immediate results and abandoning the routine when no dramatic transformation occurs right away. However, the true power of a morning routine lies in its compounding effect. Each intentional morning strengthens mental clarity, discipline, and productivity, creating a positive feedback loop that improves overall well-being. Consistency does not mean perfection. There will be days when schedules are disrupted, motivation is low, or circumstances make following the routine difficult. The key is flexibility without abandonment. Adjust the routine as needed rather than discarding it completely. Even a shorter version of the routine can maintain momentum and prevent slipping back into old habits. By prioritizing consistency over intensity, your morning routine will evolve from an obligation into a natural and effortless part of daily life. Mastering your morning routine is not just about waking up early. It is about taking control of your life. How you spend the first few hours of your day shapes your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Those who start their day with clarity, energy, and intention are far more likely to achieve their goals, maintain focus, and feel fulfilled. On the other hand, those who let mornings unfold passively often struggle with stress, distraction, and inefficiency throughout the day. Your morning routine is the foundation, the silent force that shapes the rest of your waking hours. It is not about fitting into someone else's mold, but designing a ritual aligned with your highest values and aspirations. When structured correctly, mornings become a powerful tool for transformation. They enable you to operate at your highest level, not just for a few days, but for a lifetime. The key is not perfection but intention, consistency, and alignment. When you start your day with purpose, every other part of your life begins to align with that energy, creating a ripple effect of clarity, focus, and success. Chapter 4: The Psychology of Early Rising. Understanding the mental barriers to waking up early. Waking up early is not just a battle against the alarm clock. It is a battle against the mind. The reluctance to rise before dawn is deeply psychological. It is rooted in habits, conditioned responses, and the brain's instinct for comfort. Many people struggle with waking up early, not because they are physically incapable, but because their minds associate mornings with deprivation rather than opportunity. The subconscious mind, conditioned by years of hitting the snooze button or linking mornings with stress, sees waking up early as something to avoid. This resistance shows up as rationalizations. I'll start tomorrow, I didn't get enough sleep, I work better at night. These are not truths but defense mechanisms designed to keep the body comfortable. Breaking free from this cycle requires a psychological shift. When early rising is seen as an empowering choice rather than a punishment, the brain stops resisting. This change does not happen overnight but develops through repeated exposure and positive reinforcement. People who succeed at becoming early risers do not have superhuman discipline. They simply rewire their minds to connect early mornings with clarity, achievement, and progress instead of fatigue. The key is understanding that the struggle to wake up early is mental, not physical. By changing thought patterns, anyone can train themselves to wake up with energy and enthusiasm instead of reluctance. The role of identity in becoming an early riser. One of the most overlooked parts of waking up early is identity. People act according to how they see themselves. As long as someone believes they are not a morning person, their behavior will match that belief. Identity drives habits. For early rising, the shift must start with how you see yourself. Someone who truly believes, "I am a morning person," will naturally do things that support that identity. They will go to bed on time, avoid staying up late scrolling through their phone, and wake up without hitting snooze. On the other hand, someone who thinks they are a night owl will find reasons to justify late nights and struggle with mornings. Changing identity is not about forcing yourself into an unnatural role. It is about gradually reinforcing a new self-image through small wins. Waking up early once might seem like a fluke, but doing it consistently for a week helps your brain internalize the change. Each successful morning strengthens this new identity. Waking up early becomes less of a challenge and more of a natural expectation. When you truly believe you are an early riser, the struggle fades and is replaced by a natural habit of morning discipline. That's why long-term change isn't about willpower alone. It's about aligning your behavior with an identity that feels natural and inevitable. Breaking the snooze button habit. One of the biggest obstacles to early rising is the snooze button. It may seem like a small action, pressing it for 5 more minutes, but it is a powerful psychological reinforcement of procrastination. Every time you hit snooze, your brain learns that commitments can be delayed, discomfort avoided, and immediate comfort prioritized over long-term goals. Over time, this creates a habit loop where waking up becomes associated with resistance, not readiness. The best way to break this habit is to remove the choice entirely. If waking up is optional, the mind will always try to negotiate for more sleep. But if waking up is non-negotiable, resistance disappears. One effective method is the feet on the floor rule. The moment the alarm rings, your feet must touch the ground. This simple physical action interrupts hesitation and signals to your body that it's time to start the day. By removing the chance to decide again, waking up becomes automatic rather than a battle of willpower. Another strategy is placing your alarm across the room. Getting out of bed to turn it off breaks the desire to go back to sleep, making it easier to stay awake. Additionally, having a wake-up ritual, such as immediately drinking a glass of water or stepping into bright light, helps reinforce alertness. The key to breaking the snooze habit is removing opportunities for delay and creating a morning environment where waking up is the default, not the exception. Overcoming morning fatigue. The energy mindset shift. Many people avoid waking up early because they associate mornings with tiredness and grogginess. However, this feeling of fatigue is often psychological rather than physical. Studies show that how people expect to feel influences their actual energy levels. If someone wakes up thinking, "I am exhausted," their brain will produce sensations of fatigue to match that belief. On the other hand, if they wake up thinking, "I feel energized and ready," their body responds with greater alertness. This is called the expectancy effect, which shows how powerful the mind is in shaping physical sensations. One of the best ways to shift your energy mindset is through pre-sleep programming. The thoughts you focus on before bed affect how you wake up. If you go to sleep dreading the morning, your subconscious will reinforce that expectation. But if you go to bed excited about the morning, your brain will be ready to wake up with enthusiasm. A simple practice is to use verbal affirmations before sleep. Tell yourself, "I will wake up feeling refreshed and ready." Although it seems small, this change in expectation has a strong impact on your morning energy. Another useful technique is the 5-second rule, popularized by Mel Robbins. When the alarm goes off, count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and immediately get up. This prevents hesitation by bypassing the brain's resistance and activating the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for decision-making and focus. Taking action before your mind can make excuses makes waking up easier. The psychology of early rising is not about forcing unnatural habits but about reprogramming the mind to support success. Waking up early is not a burden but an opportunity, a time for clarity, focus, and productivity. To adopt this mindset, the brain must learn to see mornings as an advantage rather than a struggle. This requires changing internal narratives, building new identities, and eliminating self-sabotaging habits. Those who master the psychology of waking up early know that the key lies not in the alarm clock but in how they think about mornings. By shifting identity, removing decision fatigue, and embracing an energy mindset, early rising becomes effortless. The struggle fades, replaced by a natural habit of discipline and purpose. Once you master your mornings, the rest of your life follows because how your day begins determines how it unfolds. Chapter 5: The Science of Sleep and Optimal Rest. Understanding the sleep cycle, the foundation of restorative sleep. Sleep is not a single, uniform state of unconsciousness but a complex, highly structured process. It cycles through several stages, each with a unique role in physical and mental recovery. The sleep cycle includes 4 key stages: light sleep, stage 1 and stage 2, deep sleep, stage 3, REM sleep, stage 4. These cycles repeat about every 90 minutes, with each stage contributing to different aspects of restoration and brain function. Light sleep acts as a transition, preparing the body for deeper rest. Deep sleep is responsible for physical recovery, strengthening the immune system, and cellular repair. REM sleep, marked by intense brain activity and vivid dreams, helps the mind consolidate memories, process emotions, and improve problem-solving skills. The key to waking up refreshed is not just the total hours slept but completing full sleep cycles. When an alarm interrupts deep or REM sleep, it causes sleep inertia, a state of grogginess and confusion that can last for hours. That's why waking up after 7.5 or 9 hours, multiples of 90 minutes, feels much better than waking up after 8 hours, which might cut a cycle short. Understanding this structure lets you plan your sleep strategically, ensuring your body and brain get the full benefits of rest. How poor sleep disrupts early rising and performance. One of the biggest challenges to waking up early is poor sleep quality. Many believe going to bed earlier guarantees waking up refreshed, but sleep quality is as important as quantity. Factors like blue light exposure, irregular sleep schedules, high caffeine intake, stress, and poor sleep hygiene disrupt sleep cycles and cause fragmented rest. When sleep is interrupted, the body cannot complete important recovery processes, leaving you tired regardless of time spent in bed. Chronic sleep deprivation affects more than energy. It impairs brain function, weakens the immune system, and disrupts hormonal balance. Lack of sleep increases cortisol, the stress hormone, leading to higher anxiety, irritability, and poor focus. It also affects insulin and hunger hormones, causing stronger cravings for high-calorie foods and a higher risk of weight gain. This explains why people who sleep poorly struggle with both mental clarity and physical health. Beyond health, poor sleep undermines the habit of early rising. When your body isn't well rested, waking up becomes a battle of willpower instead of a smooth transition. That is why establishing consistent sleep quality strategies is crucial, not only for maintaining an early morning routine, but also for maximizing productivity and long-term well-being. Mastering sleep hygiene. How to optimize rest. The key to waking up early without feeling exhausted is mastering sleep hygiene, a set of habits that improve sleep quality and ensure full recovery. One of the most important aspects of sleep hygiene is maintaining a consistent sleep schedule. The human body follows a circadian rhythm, an internal biological clock that controls sleep-wake cycles. When bedtime and wake-up times vary, the body struggles to maintain a steady rhythm, causing difficulty falling asleep and waking up. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, including weekends, strengthens this natural rhythm and makes early rising easier. Another crucial factor is reducing blue light exposure before bed. Phones, tablets, and computers emit blue light, which suppresses melatonin, the hormone that helps induce sleep. Using screens within an hour of bedtime can delay falling asleep, reduce REM sleep, and make waking early much harder. To counteract this, use blue light filters, switch to dim lighting in the evening, and replace screen time with activities like reading or meditation. These changes can greatly improve sleep quality. Your sleeping environment also plays a vital role. Cool temperatures, complete darkness, and minimal noise promote deep, restful sleep. Keeping your bedroom between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 to 19 degrees Celsius, using blackout curtains, and eliminating background noise creates the perfect sleep setting. These small adjustments add up to significant improvements in sleep efficiency, leading to full recovery and easier early rising. The impact of diet and exercise on sleep quality. Sleep is deeply connected to lifestyle choices, especially diet and exercise. Caffeine and alcohol are two of the biggest disruptors of good sleep. Caffeine, found in coffee, tea, energy drinks, and chocolate, has a half-life of 5 to 6 hours, meaning half of it remains in your bloodstream several hours after consumption. Drinking coffee in the afternoon can delay sleep and reduce deep sleep, causing morning grogginess. To improve sleep, limit caffeine to the morning and avoid it at least 6 hours before bedtime. This allows your body to enter deep sleep stages without interruption. While alcohol might make you feel sleepy at first, it actually breaks up sleep cycles and reduces REM sleep. This results in poor recovery and less mental clarity the next day. To maintain high sleep quality, those committed to early rising should minimize or avoid alcohol altogether. Exercise also plays a key role in regulating sleep. Regular physical activity increases your sleep drive, enhances deep sleep, and lowers stress hormones that interfere with rest. However, timing is important. Vigorous exercise too close to bedtime raises adrenaline and body temperature, making it harder to fall asleep. The best time to exercise is in the morning or early evening, giving your body enough time to cool down and prepare for sleep naturally. By combining smart diet and exercise habits, you optimize sleep quality, turning early rising into an energizing habit instead of a struggle. Why mastering sleep is essential for early rising. Waking up at 5 a.m. is not just about setting an alarm. It's about making sure your body is fully rested, your mind is clear, and your energy is high. Understanding sleep cycles, optimizing sleep hygiene, and aligning your diet and exercise with restorative sleep build a strong foundation for sustainable early rising. When you prioritize sleep quality, waking early stops being a battle. Instead, you wake up feeling refreshed, focused, and ready to tackle the day. Early rising then becomes more than a habit. It becomes a strategic advantage that boosts productivity, creativity, and overall well-being. Those who master their sleep unlock their full potential, gaining control over their mornings and, ultimately, their lives. Chapter 6: Building the Perfect Morning Routine. Why morning routines shape the entire day. How your morning begins sets the tone for your entire day. A well-planned, purposeful morning routine creates momentum, focus, and a sense of control. This allows you to move through the day with intention and discipline instead of reacting to chaos. However, many people start their mornings stressed, rushing to get ready, scrolling through their phones, or hitting the snooze button multiple times. This lack of structure sets a negative psychological tone, making it more likely that the rest of the day will be unproductive, fragmented, and full of unnecessary stress. Conversely, those who master their mornings enter each day with clarity and readiness, making them far more effective in their work, relationships, and personal growth. The key to a powerful morning routine isn't just waking up early, it's what you do in the first hour after waking. This golden hour is when the brain is most impressionable, free from distractions, and in an optimal state for creativity, strategic planning, and personal development. This is why many successful people, from top CEOs to elite athletes, follow highly structured morning routines. These routines aren't random. They are designed to maximize mental clarity, energy, and productivity by focusing on key activities that stimulate both mind and body in a balanced way. The psychology of habit formation in morning routines. A morning routine isn't just a random list of tasks. It's a deliberate system of habits that becomes automatic over time. Understanding how habits form is crucial for creating a routine that sticks. The brain operates on habit loops, which consist of cue, a trigger like an alarm sound, stepping out of bed, or turning on a specific song. Routine, the habitual actions that follow, such as drinking water, exercising, journaling, or meditating. Reward, the positive feeling gained from completing the routine, like a sense of accomplishment, mental clarity, or physical energy. For consistency, morning routines must be easy to follow and enjoyable. Many fail because they try to make too many big changes at once, leading to burnout. The key is starting small and gradually adding new habits. For example, instead of doing a full hour-long routine on day 1, start with just 10 minutes of stretching, reading, or mindfulness. As the habit loop strengthens, the routine becomes automatic and effortless. The essential components of a high-performance morning routine. An effective morning routine includes 5 key pillars. Hydration. After hours of sleep, the body is dehydrated, causing fatigue, sluggishness, and reduced cognitive function. Drinking a full glass of water right after waking jump-starts metabolism, flushes out toxins, and rehydrates the brain, improving mental clarity and energy. Adding electrolytes or a squeeze of lemon can boost this effect by replenishing minerals lost overnight. Movement. Morning physical activity activates the nervous system, increases blood flow, and releases endorphins for a natural energy boost. This doesn't have to be intense. Simple stretching, yoga, or a brisk walk can wake the body and increase focus. For those who prefer structure, strength training or cardio sessions in the morning build discipline, boost metabolism, and create sustained energy. Mindfulness. The first moments of the day set the tone. Mindfulness practices like meditation, deep breathing, or gratitude journaling are essential for mental clarity. Even 5 minutes of meditation lowers stress, improves focus, and enhances self-awareness, creating calm before the day's demands. Writing down 3 things you're grateful for shifts your mindset toward positivity and resilience. Goal setting. Mornings are perfect for setting intentions and defining priorities. Instead of diving into emails or social media, spend a few minutes writing down your top 3 tasks for the day. This increases focus and productivity, prevents decision fatigue later on, and ensures your energy goes toward meaningful progress rather than distractions. Learning. The morning is ideal for mental expansion and personal growth. Whether it's reading, listening to an audiobook, or learning a new skill, dedicating even 15 minutes to learning compounds into significant growth over time. Engaging with high-quality content in the morning, not social media or news, sets an intellectual tone that keeps the mind sharp and engaged. Avoiding common morning routine mistakes. Many people struggle with their morning routines because they fall into counterproductive habits that sabotage their success. Common morning mistakes and how to fix them. One of the biggest mistakes people make is checking their phone immediately upon waking up. The moment social media, emails, or news headlines are consumed, the brain shifts into a reactive state. It starts responding to external stimuli instead of setting its own priorities. This habit not only increases stress but also reduces morning focus and productivity. The best practice is to avoid screens for at least the first 30 minutes of the morning. This allows intentional and uninterrupted time for self-improvement. Another common mistake is skipping preparation the night before. A great morning routine actually begins the evening before. Simple actions like laying out workout clothes, preparing a healthy breakfast, or writing down key tasks for the next day help eliminate decision fatigue. This creates a seamless transition into the morning. When preparation is done in advance, mornings become effortless and reduce resistance to positive habits. Lastly, a lack of flexibility can lead to failure in sustaining a routine. While consistency is important, rigid routines can become unsustainable, especially when unexpected events occur. The key is to maintain core habits while allowing adaptability. For example, if a morning workout is missed due to travel, replacing it with a short stretching session keeps continuity. A routine should be structured yet flexible, making it easy to maintain regardless of external circumstances. Final thoughts. Making mornings a competitive advantage. A powerful morning routine is more than just a set of habits. It is a strategic system for optimizing energy, focus, and performance. Those who design their mornings with intention and discipline gain a distinct advantage. They operate at high levels of productivity, mental clarity, and resilience. By incorporating key elements like hydration, movement, mindfulness, goal setting, and learning, mornings become a launchpad for success rather than a time of grogginess and disorganization. Mastering mornings is not about strict rules but about creating a sequence of habits that align with personal goals and values. Once a morning routine is established and practiced consistently, it transforms from a conscious effort into an automatic part of life. Over time, this creates a powerful ripple effect, shaping not just individual days but long-term success, fulfillment, and personal growth. The morning is the foundation upon which the rest of the day is built. Those who control their mornings control their destiny. Chapter 7. Mastering Discipline and Overcoming Resistance. The Power of Discipline. Why it matters more than motivation. One of the biggest misconceptions about success is that it comes from motivation. People believe that if they can just stay motivated long enough, they will accomplish their goals, build new habits, and transform their lives. However, motivation is fleeting. It is an emotional state that changes based on mood, energy levels, and external circumstances. Some days, motivation feels abundant. Waking up early, exercising, and staying productive come effortlessly. On other days, motivation disappears completely, leaving people feeling sluggish, unmotivated, and prone to procrastination. This is why motivation alone is never enough. True success is built on discipline, the ability to act consistently regardless of feelings, external conditions, or momentary desires. Discipline is what separates those who achieve lasting success from those who remain stuck in cycles of inconsistency. Unlike motivation, which is unreliable, discipline is a habitual practice. It is a commitment to follow through on decisions even when the initial excitement fades. This is why elite athletes, top entrepreneurs, and high achievers all operate with strict self-discipline, not just bursts of inspiration. They understand that growth happens not when it is convenient, but when it is deliberate and consistent. By shifting focus from motivation to discipline, individuals develop unshakable habits, ensuring progress continues even when willpower runs low. Understanding resistance. The hidden force holding you back. One of the greatest obstacles to discipline is resistance, the internal force that fights against change and improvement. Resistance appears as procrastination, self-doubt, distractions, and rationalizations. It is the voice in the mind that whispers, "Just hit the snooze button once," or "You can always start tomorrow." It convinces people to take the easy route, avoiding discomfort in favor of immediate gratification. Understanding that resistance is inevitable is the first step in overcoming it. Resistance thrives on two things: uncertainty and discomfort. Whenever a new habit or discipline is introduced, whether waking up early, exercising, or focusing on deep work, resistance pushes back, making it feel difficult or unnatural. This happens because the brain seeks to conserve energy, preferring familiar routines over effortful change. The key to defeating resistance is not eliminating it but learning to act despite it. The moment action is taken, resistance weakens. Starting and strengthening discipline. Starting is often the hardest part, but once a habit gains momentum, it becomes easier to maintain. Another powerful way to fight resistance is by reducing decision fatigue. The more choices the brain has to make, the easier it is to justify delays or avoidance. That's why structured routines, pre-planned actions, and automated habits are so important. The fewer decisions you need to make, the less room resistance has to interfere. By making desired actions your default behaviors, discipline becomes second nature. The role of identity in strengthening discipline. Many people think of discipline as something external, a force they must apply using willpower alone. But the most effective way to build lasting discipline is to connect it with your identity. Instead of saying, "I need to force myself to wake up early," it is far more powerful to say, "I am the kind of person who wakes up early." Identity-based habits are much stronger than those based only on external goals. When an action feels like part of who you are, it becomes automatic. A disciplined person doesn't need to convince themselves to follow through, they just act because that's who they are. This shift in thinking removes friction, making habits easier to maintain long-term. That's why professional athletes never question whether they should train, it's simply part of their identity. Similarly, those who develop a strong identity around discipline stop struggling with resistance. They act naturally. Building identity-based discipline takes repetition and reinforcement. Every time you act in a way that aligns with your desired identity, whether waking up at 5 a.m., exercising, or focusing on work, you strengthen your self-perception. Over time, your identity as a disciplined person becomes unshakable. Resistance weakens, and taking action becomes effortless. How to strengthen discipline and build an unbreakable mindset? Discipline is like a muscle. It must be trained, strengthened, and reinforced. The more you practice, the stronger it becomes. Here are the most effective ways to build a solid foundation of discipline. Eliminate decision fatigue. The fewer decisions you make, the easier discipline becomes. Pre-plan meals, workouts, and daily routines to reduce mental resistance and improve follow-through. Use the 5-minute rule. When resistance is high, commit to just 5 minutes of an action. Starting small removes the mental barrier. Once you begin, momentum takes over. Leverage accountability. Having external accountability, such as partners, mentors, or tracking systems, strengthens discipline by adding responsibility beyond your personal willpower. Remove distractions. Discipline works best in a success-focused environment. Eliminate temptations, organize your workspace, and minimize digital distractions to make disciplined actions easier. Prioritize consistency over intensity. Small, consistent actions are more effective than occasional bursts of effort. Daily repetition turns discipline into automatic behavior and a lifestyle. Making discipline a natural part of life. The goal is to make discipline natural and effortless. This requires shifting from occasional effort to permanent transformation. Discipline should become the foundation of how your life is structured, not something you use only when needed. At first, building discipline feels hard. The mind resists, habits seem unnatural, and results may take time. But as you stay consistent, the need for willpower fades. Discipline changes from an external effort into part of your identity, making success inevitable. Over time, this creates a ripple effect. Stronger habits lead to better productivity leads to greater success, and greater success fuels deeper fulfillment. True discipline is not about forcing yourself into discomfort. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally operates at a high level. It's about designing a life where success is not luck but intentional. By mastering discipline and overcoming resistance, you gain full control over your mornings, your habits, and ultimately your destiny. Chapter 8: The Science of Habit Formation and Long-Term Consistency. Understanding how habits are formed. At the core of every human behavior is a psychological mechanism called the habit loop, a neurological cycle that makes behaviors automatic. This loop has 3 essential parts. The cue. This is the trigger that tells your brain to start an action. It can be something in your environment, a specific time, or an emotional state. The routine. This is the behavior itself, the repeated action that becomes ingrained over time. The reward. This is the positive feedback that reinforces the habit by creating pleasure or a sense of accomplishment. Every habit, whether good or bad, follows this loop. The habit loop. How automatic behaviors are formed. For example, consider someone who instinctively checks their phone upon waking. The cue is the alarm ringing. The routine is grabbing the phone and scrolling through notifications, and the reward is the dopamine rush from new messages, social media interactions, or news updates. This cycle reinforces itself until the behavior becomes subconscious. Understanding the mechanics of the habit loop is the first step to gaining control over automatic behaviors. By recognizing cues and rewards, individuals can systematically reshape their habits, eliminating those that hold them back while reinforcing those that promote success. Breaking an old habit means disrupting the loop, either by removing the cue, changing the routine, or replacing the reward with something equally satisfying. Similarly, forming a new habit requires intentionally designing a strong cue, making the routine easy to follow, and ensuring the reward is compelling enough to maintain consistency. Those who master the habit loop gain the power to shape their lives by creating a framework that ensures discipline and long-term consistency. The role of neuroplasticity in habit formation. One of the most fascinating features of the human brain is its ability to rewire itself through repeated actions and behaviors. This process, called neuroplasticity, explains why habits eventually become effortless. The brain constantly adapts by creating new neural connections and strengthening frequently used pathways. When a behavior is repeated consistently, the brain encodes it as an automatic function, reducing the mental effort needed to perform it. This is why waking up early, exercising, or focusing on deep work can feel hard at first. The brain hasn't yet built the neural pathways to make these actions natural. But through deliberate repetition, these pathways strengthen, and the behaviors become automatic. Just as a musician practices scales until their fingers move without thinking, or a driver navigates roads instinctively without consciously planning each turn, disciplined habits become deeply ingrained in the subconscious mind. This understanding is crucial. It shows that anyone can develop or break habits with consistent effort. No one is naturally disciplined or born an early riser. These are neural patterns formed and reinforced over time. The more frequently you perform an action, the stronger the pathways become. By using neuroplasticity intentionally, you can design a lifestyle where productivity, discipline, and success run on autopilot. Why small changes lead to massive results. The compound effect. Many people struggle with habits because they expect instant transformation or drastic change overnight. However, the most powerful habits develop through small, consistent improvements, a principle called the compound effect. This idea means tiny, seemingly insignificant choices, repeated over time, lead to extraordinary long-term results. For example, reading just 10 pages a day may seem small, but over 1 year, it adds up to 3,650 pages, the equivalent of 10 to 15 full-length books. Similarly, waking up 10 minutes earlier each week can gradually shift your schedule to a 5 a.m. wake-up time without discomfort. The key is understanding that progress compounds. Small daily improvements build unstoppable momentum. This principle applies to all areas of life, whether improving fitness, learning a skill, or building discipline. Gradual, incremental changes and consistent 1% improvements make long-term success inevitable. The compound effect shows that actions taken today multiply over time, shaping your future in ways that may seem invisible at first but become undeniable. Building systems for unshakable consistency. Consistency is the backbone of habit formation and long-term success. Many people fail not because they lack motivation but because they don't have a structured system. Without a clear, repeatable process, habits become inconsistent and unsustainable. High achievers don't rely on willpower alone, they design systems that make success automatic. A well-designed system removes friction from good habits and increases resistance to bad ones. For example, someone wanting to wake up at 5 a.m. should eliminate late-night distractions, set alarms across the room, establish a pre-sleep routine that signals the brain it's time to rest. Similarly, someone aiming to read more should place books in visible locations, reduce screen time before bed, schedule dedicated reading time. Building systems for consistency and accountability, incorporating sessions like reading or workouts into daily routines by organizing your environment to support these actions makes consistency effortless. Accountability is also critical for maintaining consistency. External reinforcement, whether from mentors, habit tracking apps, or accountability partners, greatly improves long-term commitment. When commitments are made public or progress is tracked, the likelihood of follow-through increases significantly. A strong system ensures success doesn't depend on fleeting motivation but on reliable structures that support disciplined action. Reinforcing habits for lifelong success. The final step in mastering habits is reinforcement, making sure positive behaviors stay a permanent part of daily life. Many people achieve temporary success with new habits but abandon them after a few weeks. Long-term consistency depends on deliberate reinforcement through strategic review, celebration, adaptation. One effective reinforcement method is habit tracking, a visual way to see progress. This builds momentum and strengthens commitment. Seeing a chain of completed actions, like consecutive days of early rising, workouts, or focused work sessions, creates psychological motivation to maintain the streak and makes breaking consistency harder. Additionally, rewarding progress is essential. While intrinsic rewards like increased energy, productivity, and confidence naturally reinforce habits, adding small external rewards for milestone achievements further strengthens commitment. The brain responds powerfully to rewards, associating positive emotions with disciplined behavior. Finally, habits need regular evaluation and adjustment. Life changes, and systems, routines, or approaches may require tweaking. Successful individuals stay adaptable, continuously optimizing their habits to match evolving goals. By maintaining a growth mindset, they keep habits relevant, effective, and permanently part of their lifestyle. Mastering habit formation is the key to unlocking long-term consistency and extraordinary success. By understanding the habit loop, leveraging neuroplasticity, applying the compound effect, and designing structured systems, you gain control over your actions, eliminate resistance, and shape your future intentionally. Success is never an accident. It results from consistent, disciplined habits repeated over time. Those who master habit formation don't rely on willpower alone. They build deliberate systems that make success automatic. By applying these principles, anyone can create a life where discipline is effortless, productivity is natural, and personal growth is unstoppable. Chapter 9: Mastering the Power of Discipline and Mental Toughness. The foundation of discipline. Discipline is often misunderstood. Many think it means rigid routines, deprivation, or a constant battle against temptation. But at its core, discipline is the ultimate form of self-respect. It is the ability to make decisions based on long-term benefits rather than immediate gratification. True discipline isn't about punishing yourself for desires but about raising your standards to match your highest life vision. It is a conscious commitment to pursue growth, push past limits, and show up consistently, regardless of motivation. Unlike motivation, which fluctuates with emotions and external factors, discipline is a steady, unwavering force. It doesn't depend on how you feel in the moment but on deeply ingrained habits and systems you've built. A disciplined person knows success isn't about occasional inspiration bursts but about small, consistent actions repeated over time, in fitness, career, relationships, or personal growth. Those who cultivate discipline gain full control over their destiny. Discipline also builds confidence. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you strengthen self-trust. Each act of discipline reinforces the belief that you can achieve anything through focused effort and persistence. This inner trust becomes the foundation for facing bigger challenges and overcoming adversity with resilience. The journey to mastering discipline isn't about perfection but about daily progress, choosing to act, no matter how small, even when it's uncomfortable. Overcoming resistance. The battle against comfort and excuses. The greatest enemy of discipline is comfort. Overcoming resistance. In a world of comfort, the modern world is designed to maximize ease, convenience, and instant gratification. With distractions everywhere, endless entertainment, fast food, and on-demand indulgences, resistance to productive habits has never been higher. Since the mind is wired for survival, it naturally seeks the path of least resistance. This makes it easy to justify skipping workouts, delaying important tasks, or indulging in time-wasting activities. To build discipline, you must consciously push against this resistance. This means identifying the specific areas where comfort is holding you back and creating structures that make discipline easier. For example, someone struggling with procrastination should remove digital distractions, set clear deadlines, and create an environment that encourages deep focus. Those wanting to develop a consistent fitness routine need to prepare workout clothes in advance, establish a non-negotiable schedule, and eliminate excuses before they arise. A powerful strategy to overcome resistance is the 5-minute rule. Commit to an action for just 5 minutes. The hardest part of any habit is starting, and by reducing initial friction, momentum naturally builds. Once you begin, the mind shifts from resistance to action, making it easier to continue. Over time, this approach strengthens mental toughness, transforming discipline into an automatic response rather than a forced effort. Building unbreakable mental toughness. Mental toughness is the ability to persist through discomfort, adversity, and setbacks without losing focus. It is the defining trait of high achievers, the willingness to endure challenges while staying committed to long-term goals. Mentally tough people do not let temporary failures or emotional ups and downs dictate their actions. Instead, they develop a relentless mindset that thrives under pressure. One of the best ways to build mental toughness is through voluntary discomfort. By intentionally placing yourself in challenging situations, your mind adapts and becomes stronger and more resilient. This can be done through physical challenges like cold showers, intense workouts, or fasting, as well as mental exercises like extended focus sessions, delayed gratification, or disciplined daily routines. The more often you face discomfort, the more normal it becomes, reducing the power of obstacles and excuses. Another key aspect of mental toughness is emotional self-discipline, the ability to regulate your reactions, stay composed under stress, and keep moving forward despite uncertainty. This ability separates those who succeed from those who quit. Rather than letting frustration, doubt, or fear control decisions, mentally tough individuals train themselves to respond with logic, clarity, and determination. They understand that emotions are temporary, but the impact of their choices lasts indefinitely. The power of daily non-negotiables. To keep discipline strong, successful people establish daily non-negotiables, small, powerful actions that form the foundation for long-term success. These are not overwhelming or complicated habits but core commitments that, when consistently done, lead to extraordinary results. Examples of daily non-negotiables include waking up at a specific time, dedicating time to reading, practicing gratitude, exercising, working on a personal goal. These small disciplines compound over time and reinforce identity-based habits. When someone repeatedly practices disciplined actions, they no longer have to force themselves. They become a disciplined person at their core. Consistency with these non-negotiables is essential, even on difficult days. These actions must be completed regardless of mood or circumstances. This builds the belief that discipline isn't dependent on convenience but is a fundamental part of life. The stronger these daily disciplines become, the easier it is to maintain long-term focus and resilience. Developing a relentless work ethic. A defining characteristic of highly disciplined people is an unstoppable work ethic. They don't wait for opportunities or rely on luck. Instead, they create success through intense effort and strategic action. This level of discipline requires a clear purpose, a structured plan, and unwavering commitment to execution. One effective way to develop this relentless work ethic is by adopting a mindset of continuous improvement instead of seeking perfection. Disciplined individuals focus on making small daily progress, becoming slightly better each day. This approach removes the fear of failure and encourages consistent action, knowing that growth is the ultimate goal. Additionally, eliminating distractions is crucial to maintaining an intense work ethic. Highly disciplined people guard their time ruthlessly, ensuring every hour is spent on meaningful, high-impact activities, not shallow, energy-draining tasks. They design their environment for maximum efficiency, removing obstacles that interfere with productivity. Mastering discipline and mental toughness. Mastering discipline and mental toughness is not about short-term willpower. It is about building an unshakable foundation for lifelong success. Those who commit to this path gain complete control over their actions, emotions, and future, making them unstoppable in any pursuit. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement, while mental toughness ensures that challenges never derail progress. By consistently practicing self-control, overcoming resistance, and embracing discomfort, individuals develop a mindset that thrives under any circumstance. Success is not reserved for those who are naturally gifted. It belongs to those disciplined enough to earn it. People who master discipline design a life where nothing is left to chance, ensuring every action aligns with their highest potential. Chapter 10: The Science of Habit Formation and Lasting Change, Understanding the Psychology of Habits. Why we do what we do. At the core of every human behavior lies a pattern, a subconscious loop that shapes how we act, react, and ultimately live our lives. These patterns, known as habits, form the building blocks of our daily existence. They influence everything from productivity to health, relationships, and success. The brain, in its constant quest for efficiency, creates habits to automate repetitive actions and conserve energy. While this is an advantage, it also means negative habits, once ingrained, can be as difficult to break as positive habits are to establish. Habits work through a three-step neurological loop: cue, routine, and reward. The cue triggers the brain to enter automatic mode. The routine is the action that follows. The reward is the benefit received, which reinforces the behavior. This loop explains why we instinctively check our phones upon waking, crave certain foods at specific times, or procrastinate when faced with difficult tasks. Understanding this cycle is the first step toward mastering habit formation because it helps us control our actions rather than be controlled by them. The key to lasting change: the key is not to rely on willpower, which fluctuates with circumstances, but to restructure the habit loop itself. By identifying cues that trigger undesirable behaviors and replacing the routine with a more constructive action, while keeping the reward satisfying, we can reshape habits without internal resistance. This process requires conscious effort, repetition, and understanding how deeply habits are wired into our neural pathways. Breaking bad habits, rewiring the brain for success. One of the biggest challenges in personal transformation is eliminating deeply ingrained bad habits. These behaviors, reinforced over years, become automatic responses that feel nearly impossible to change. Bad habits persist not because of a lack of discipline, but because the brain has formed strong neural connections, making the habit feel natural and instinctive. To successfully break a negative habit, we must address its root cause, not just suppress the behavior. The most effective strategy for breaking bad habits is substitution, not elimination. The brain resists change when it sees habit removal as a loss, which causes discomfort, cravings, and relapse. However, replacing a negative habit with a constructive alternative that satisfies the same need allows the brain to adapt without feeling deprived. For example, instead of stopping social media scrolling when stressed, replace it with a short walk, deep breathing, or journaling, activities that promote relaxation without negative distraction. The role of environment in breaking habits: willpower alone is not enough when surrounded by constant temptations that reinforce unwanted behaviors. Changing the environment is crucial. This can include removing unhealthy snacks from the kitchen, keeping your phone in another room during focused work, setting clear physical reminders. The fewer obstacles between intention and action, the higher the chances of lasting change. The power of identity-based habits. Becoming who you aspire to be. Most people focus on changing behaviors, but the most effective way to form lasting habits is by changing your identity. Instead of setting goals like, "I want to exercise more," or "I should wake up early," identity-based habits focus on who you want to become. This shift is powerful. When an action aligns with a strong sense of identity, it no longer feels like a struggle. It becomes a natural part of who you are. For instance, instead of forcing yourself to run daily, adopting the identity of a disciplined athlete changes your perspective. Being disciplined becomes part of your character. A disciplined athlete changes their perspective. A disciplined athlete does not negotiate whether to train, they train because it is who they are. This approach eliminates internal resistance, as every action reinforces the new identity, strengthening the habit effortlessly. The same principle applies to productivity, nutrition, reading, and personal growth. Instead of trying to act disciplined, One must embody discipline until it becomes an inseparable part of their character. Building identity-based habits requires small wins that compound over time. Each time an individual follows through on an action that aligns with their desired identity, whether it's writing a paragraph, completing a workout, or waking up early, they cast a vote for the person they want to become. Over time, these votes accumulate, solidifying the habit into an intrinsic part of their being. The more one acts in alignment with their identity, the stronger the habit becomes, making it effortless rather than forced. Designing an effective habit system, creating structure for consistency. One of the biggest reasons habits fail is a lack of structure and consistency. While motivation may provide an initial spark, long-term success is only possible when habits are integrated into a well-designed system. A strong habit system removes decision fatigue, making it easier to take action regardless of external circumstances. The most effective habit systems follow the principle of automation. This means designing an environment and routine where habits are triggered naturally, eliminating the need for conscious effort. One powerful strategy is habit stacking, which involves attaching a new habit to an existing one. For example, if someone wants to develop a habit of reading daily, they can attach it to their morning coffee routine. After I make coffee, I will read for 10 minutes. This method works because the brain already recognizes the original habit, making the addition of a new one seamless. Tracking and reinforcement. Another critical component of an effective habit system is tracking and reinforcement. Keeping a simple record of daily habits, whether through a physical journal, an app, or a visual tracker, creates a sense of accountability and progress. Each completed action builds momentum, reinforcing consistency and preventing setbacks. The key is to focus on progress rather than perfection, understanding that minor deviations do not equal failure but serve as learning opportunities to refine the system further. Leveraging the power of commitment and accountability. While self-discipline is essential for habit formation, external accountability can significantly enhance adherence and long-term success. When individuals commit to a goal publicly, whether through an accountability partner, a coach, or a supportive community, they create psychological leverage that increases their likelihood of following through. The fear of letting others down, combined with the motivation of shared progress, reinforces habit consistency. One of the most powerful commitment strategies is public declaration, where individuals state their goals openly. Studies show that verbalizing and sharing a goal with others increases the probability of completion due to social expectations and personal integrity. Additionally, having a reliable accountability partner who checks in regularly and provides support further enhances discipline by minimizing excuses. Another effective approach is financial commitment, where individuals attach a monetary consequence to their goals. For instance, some apps allow users to bet money on their habits, with penalties for non-compliance. This added stake transforms habits from mere intentions into serious commitments, ensuring higher follow-through rates. Mastering habit formation for permanent transformation. Mastering habit formation is not about temporary discipline but about rewiring the brain for permanent transformation. By understanding the psychology behind habits, breaking negative patterns, and designing a structured system, individuals can take full control over their behaviors and ultimately their lives. Success is not built on a single moment of motivation but on the daily, consistent repetition of small habits that compound into extraordinary results. Those who commit to building powerful identity-based habits create an unstoppable foundation for long-term achievement, growth, and fulfillment. Chapter 11. Mastering Energy and Peak Performance, the Foundation of Energy. Why it matters more than time. In the pursuit of success, most people focus only on time management. They believe that productivity depends on the number of hours worked, rather than the energy invested. However, the most successful individuals across all fields understand a key truth. Real mastery comes from the quality and intensity of the energy they bring to each task, not just the time they spend on it. Energy is the currency of performance. It determines whether a person operates at their peak or struggles with exhaustion and burnout. Without energy, even the best time management strategies collapse under fatigue and mental depletion. The human body runs on natural biological rhythms that affect energy levels throughout the day. This is known as the ultradian rhythm. Roughly every 90 minutes, our focus, stamina, and cognitive abilities rise and fall. People who understand and work with these rhythms, rather than pushing against them, are able to sustain high performance without constantly fighting fatigue. That's why elite athletes, top executives, and high-performing creatives plan their day around energy cycles, not fixed schedules. They make sure their most demanding tasks are done during their peak energy windows. Mastering energy is about optimizing both physical and mental states. It ensures that every working moment is filled with focus, clarity, and vitality. This requires shifting our mindset, stop viewing productivity as the number of hours worked, and start recognizing that great work happens when both body and mind are at full capacity. The goal is to create renewable energy sources, fueling long-term performance, not just short bursts followed by burnout. The science of energy optimization, fueling the body for peak output. Energy isn't just a vague idea, it's a physical reality controlled by the body's ability to produce power at the cellular level. Mitochondria, often called the powerhouses of cells, create adenosine triphosphate, ATP, the molecule that fuels all bodily functions. When mitochondria are healthy and efficient, energy remains high, brain function is sharp, and physical stamina is strong. But when mitochondrial health declines, due to poor nutrition, stress, or lack of sleep, energy production slows. This leads to fatigue, brain fog, and lower performance. Nutrition is the main driver of mitochondrial health. What we eat directly affects how much energy our cells can produce. Whole foods, rich in healthy fats, lean proteins, and complex carbs, supply the fuel needed for lasting energy. In contrast, diets high in processed sugars, refined grains, and artificial additives cause energy spikes and crashes, leading to poor focus and productivity. Hydration is another key factor. Even a small drop in water levels, as little as 1 to 2% dehydration, can reduce brain function, reaction time, and physical endurance. Water helps transport nutrients, remove toxins, and keep cells running efficiently. It's one of the simplest yet most overlooked keys to peak performance. Blood sugar stability also plays a critical role. When glucose levels swing too much, energy becomes inconsistent, leading to crashes, brain fog, and cravings for caffeine or sugar. The solution is to eat low glycemic foods that offer steady, long-lasting energy, such as lean proteins, vegetables high in fiber, and healthy fats. These foods slow down sugar absorption and help maintain consistent energy throughout the day. Harnessing the power of sleep for maximum recovery. In today's culture of hustle and grind, sleep is often dismissed as a waste of time. But science proves the opposite. High performers treat sleep as essential to success and peak performance. Sleep isn't just rest, it's a powerful process where the body repairs itself, consolidates memories, and restores energy. It plays a vital role in brain health, decision-making, focus, and emotional resilience. Skipping sleep doesn't make you more productive, it makes you slower, more distracted, and more prone to mistakes. On the other hand, prioritizing quality sleep improves everything: creativity, physical health, learning, and long-term achievement. The power of sleep, movement, and mindset for high performance. The brain's glymphatic system and sleep. The brain operates on a system called the glymphatic system, a natural waste-clearing mechanism that removes toxins and metabolic byproducts during sleep. When sleep is compromised, these toxins accumulate, leading to impaired cognitive function, slower reaction times, and increased stress levels. Chronic sleep deprivation has been linked to reduced decision-making ability, decreased creativity, a weakened immune system. All of these effects are harmful to sustained high performance. Optimizing sleep quality. One of the most effective ways to improve sleep quality is by maintaining a consistent circadian rhythm, aligning your sleep patterns with the body's natural biological clock. To achieve this, get regular exposure to natural sunlight in the morning, reduce blue light exposure in the evening, stick to a consistent bedtime routine. These habits contribute to better sleep efficiency and deeper, more restorative sleep cycles. Another critical factor is temperature regulation. The body naturally lowers its core temperature during sleep, making a cool, dark environment ideal for recovery. Research shows that the optimal sleeping temperature is between 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, or 15 to 19 degrees Celsius. Warmer environments can disrupt deep sleep and cause frequent awakenings. The role of movement in sustained energy and cognitive function. Energy is not just influenced by what we eat or how much we sleep. It is also heavily affected by movement and physical activity. The human body was designed for motion, and inactivity can lead to mental fatigue, energy stagnation, reduced resilience. Incorporating regular movement throughout the day results in higher energy levels, improved focus, and enhanced overall well-being. One of the best strategies to combat fatigue is to take strategic movement breaks. Prolonged periods of sitting reduce blood circulation, limit oxygen flow to the brain, and impair cognitive function. Short bursts of movement, such as walking, stretching, or deep breathing exercises, can restore energy and maintain focus. Exercise and hormonal balance. Exercise plays a crucial role in hormonal regulation, especially in managing cortisol and dopamine levels. While cortisol is necessary for alertness and motivation, chronic overproduction leads to anxiety, burnout, and fatigue. Regular exercise helps balance these hormones, supporting both mental and physical performance. Movement also increases the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a protein essential for cognitive function, memory, and overall brain health. For sustained high performance, it's not just about intense workouts but consistent, daily movement. Simple practices like using a standing desk, holding walking meetings, or stretching between tasks can significantly boost energy regulation with minimal effort. Energy is the foundation of high performance. Energy is the foundation of every breakthrough, success, and achievement. Without it, even the most ambitious goals remain out of reach. High performers understand that managing energy is more important than simply managing time. Every moment spent in an optimized state yields far greater results. By mastering the key pillars, nutrition, sleep, movement, and recovery, individuals unlock a sustainable energy source that fuels high-level performance without burnout. The key is not to work harder but to work smarter. Align daily habits with your natural biological rhythms, and optimize every element of energy management. In the end, success isn't about how many hours you work, but how effectively you use those hours. Those who learn to master their energy unlock their full potential, achieve more in less time, and maintain long-term well-being and fulfillment. Chapter 12: The Power of Mindset and Mental Conditioning. The foundation of mental mastery. Success in any field is not just a result of talent, effort, or opportunity. It's deeply rooted in mindset and mental conditioning. The way someone interprets challenges, setbacks, and opportunities determines whether they persevere or give up when obstacles arise. A strong, resilient mindset is the invisible force that sets high achievers apart from those who stagnate. It acts as an internal compass, shaping how experiences are understood, how stress is handled, and ultimately, how reality is formed. At its core, mindset is a set of beliefs that influence thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. According to psychologist Carol Dweck, there are two primary types of mindsets: fixed mindset, belief that intelligence, talent, and ability are static traits. People with this mindset tend to avoid challenges that might reveal their weaknesses. Growth mindset, belief that abilities can be developed through effort and learning. People with this mindset see challenges as opportunities for growth and view failure as a stepping stone to improvement. Understanding and developing a growth mindset is key to achieving long-term success and mental resilience. Beyond growth and fixed mindsets. Beyond just the idea of growth and fixed mindsets, there are deeper subconscious mental frameworks that shape performance. These include scarcity versus abundance thinking, internal versus external locus of control, reactive versus proactive mental habits. Each of these cognitive structures influences how a person sets goals, builds resilience, and maintains peak performance. Mastering your mental landscape is just as important as any technical skill. It's the foundation of discipline, motivation, and long-term success. Rewiring the mind, the science of neuroplasticity and cognitive conditioning. The brain is not fixed. It is constantly changing based on our experiences, habits, and thoughts. This ability to adapt and reorganize itself is called neuroplasticity. It's what allows some people to shift their mindset and behaviors, while others stay stuck in cycles of doubt, procrastination, and fear. Every thought, action, and repeated experience strengthens certain neural pathways, eventually making those patterns automatic. High performers take advantage of this by intentionally conditioning their minds through practices like visualization, used by elite athletes, CEOs, and creatives. Visualization involves mentally simulating success, seeing, feeling, and experiencing it vividly. The brain processes this as if it were real, reinforcing the neural circuits needed for high performance. Affirmations. Repeating positive, empowering self-talk helps reprogram the subconscious mind. Since the subconscious absorbs dominant narratives, whether uplifting or destructive, intentional positive reinforcement can reshape self-perception and break limiting beliefs. This is especially helpful in overcoming fear, self-doubt, and imposter syndrome. Reframing, cognitive restructuring. When facing adversity, the natural response is often negative. But those who learn to reframe obstacles as opportunities keep moving forward. They see failure not as defeat but as a chance to grow, learn, and adapt. The role of emotional resilience. Mastering stress and pressure. In high-performance environments, stress is a constant. It's not something you can avoid. What sets successful people apart is not a lack of stress, but the ability to manage it effectively. Emotional resilience. The capacity to recover from setbacks and regulate emotions under pressure is key to mental toughness and lasting excellence. When managed well, stress can actually fuel performance. It activates the body's adaptive systems, sharpening focus, boosting motivation, and preparing the mind for high-stakes situations. But unmanaged stress leads to burnout, anxiety, and reduced cognitive function. The goal is to turn stress into an ally, not an enemy. This involves breathing techniques, practices like diaphragmatic breathing or the 4-7-8 method help calm the nervous system, reduce cortisol levels, and create a sense of calm, even during intense pressure. Mindfulness and meditation. These practices train the brain to stay calm under stress. They improve emotional stability, enhance cognitive function, and support better decision-making in challenging moments. Self-awareness and emotional intelligence. People who understand their emotional triggers can create strategies to stay grounded during crises. Instead of reacting impulsively, they respond with intention, using their emotions to support their goals, not sabotage them. The power of mental endurance. Staying motivated and focused over the long haul. Success doesn't come from short bursts of motivation. It's built on consistent mental endurance over time. Staying focused, maintaining motivation, and pushing through challenges day after day requires inner strength and mental discipline. This kind of endurance is what keeps high performers on track, even when external motivation fades. The power of mental endurance. Staying motivated and focused over the long haul. Many people begin with enthusiasm, but only those with mental stamina are able to sustain their efforts when the initial excitement wears off. The ability to maintain focus, discipline, and drive over time is what separates temporary success from lasting achievement. One of the key drivers of mental endurance is intrinsic motivation, the deep, internal reasons that fuel persistence. Unlike external motivators such as money, recognition, or competition. Intrinsic motivation is rooted in purpose, passion, and personal fulfillment. People who connect their actions to a meaningful why are more likely to keep going, even through difficulties, because their drive doesn't rely on external validation. Another important factor in mental endurance is habit formation and automation. When tasks become habitual, they require less mental effort to perform, making it easier to stay consistent. This is why high performers depend on structured routines, embedding success-oriented behaviors into their daily lives and reducing the need for willpower. Discipline is also fundamental. Motivation can fade, but discipline ensures steady progress, regardless of emotions or external circumstances. Those who commit to showing up, whether they feel like it or not, build unstoppable momentum that propels them forward. The mind is the ultimate tool for success, resilience, and peak performance. Those who master their mental conditioning unlock potential that remains out of reach for anyone controlled by doubt, fear, or limiting beliefs. By rewiring thought patterns, building emotional resilience, and developing long-term mental endurance, individuals gain the ability to overcome obstacles, seize opportunities, and perform at their highest level. True success isn't just about talent or hard work, it's about mental mastery. The greatest performers throughout history, from elite athletes to visionary entrepreneurs, all share one thing in common: they mastered their minds before they mastered their craft. Those who do the same unlock a world of limitless possibilities and often exceed what they once thought was possible. Chapter 13: The Art of Deep Work and Laser Focus, the Age of Distraction. Understanding the battle for attention. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. The ability to concentrate deeply has become rare and incredibly valuable. With constant interruptions from smartphones, social media, instant messages, and notifications, maintaining focus has never been more difficult. Every beep, buzz, and alert pulls your attention away from meaningful work, fragments your thinking, and weakens your brain's ability to stay engaged. Studies show that the average attention span has dropped significantly over the past 2 decades, a worrying trend in a world that demands deeper thinking and higher productivity. Modern knowledge workers, entrepreneurs, and students face a constant uphill battle in environments designed to steal their attention. Distraction isn't just a minor inconvenience, it's a major productivity killer. The brain needs uninterrupted periods of focus to enter a state researchers call deep work. This is the mental zone of undistracted immersion that leads to high-value output and creative breakthroughs. Unlike shallow work, which involves low-effort, repetitive tasks done while multitasking, deep work requires intense mental energy, critical thinking, and problem-solving. It's the kind of work that produces innovation, sharpens expertise, and leads to long-term mastery. Unfortunately, without intentional effort, most people stay stuck in cycles of shallow work, constantly switching between low-impact tasks without ever achieving deep focus. And the battle for focus isn't just external, it's internal too. The human brain is wired to seek novelty, a survival mechanism that helped early humans stay alert to danger. Today, this shows up as compulsive checking, scrolling, and seeking distraction. The brain rewards these behaviors with dopamine, reinforcing the habit and making it harder to focus for long periods. That's why deep work is more than just a matter of willpower. It's a skill, a discipline, that must be cultivated, protected, and refined over time. Understanding deep work, how the brain focuses and creates. One of the most important differences in how the brain works is between focused mode and diffuse mode thinking. Focused mode is active during deep work. It involves intense concentration and is used for solving complex problems, learning new skills, and generating innovative ideas. Diffuse mode occurs during relaxation or light distraction. In this state, the brain subconsciously connects ideas and synthesizes information in unexpected ways. Both modes are essential, but focus mode is where the most valuable intellectual work happens. A major obstacle to deep work is attention residue, the leftover cognitive effects from switching between tasks. For example, if someone checks their email, starts working on a big project, then quickly looks at social media, their brain doesn't fully switch tasks. Part of their attention remains stuck on the previous activity, making it harder to concentrate. Research shows that even a short interruption can reduce performance and may take up to 20 minutes to regain full focus. Constant task switching keeps the brain from ever reaching its peak performance. To engage in deep work, the brain needs to enter a state called flow. Coined by psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, flow is a mental state of full immersion. In flow, people feel highly focused, creative, and productive. Time seems to disappear, distractions fade, and the work feels natural and effortless. Achieving flow isn't accidental. It requires specific conditions, clear goals, a challenging but manageable task, minimal internal and external distractions. The deep work ritual. Strategies for a focused work environment. To build a strong deep work habit, it's important to create a structured routine that reduces distractions and supports focused thinking. Effective strategies include time blocking. Reserve specific periods of the day for deep, uninterrupted work. This protects your schedule from distractions and helps your brain get into a rhythm. Environmental design. Your workspace should support focus. Keep it clutter-free, reduce background noise, and use physical cues, like a specific chair or desk setup, to signal your brain that it's time to work. Digital control. Turn off notifications, use website blockers, and set up email autoresponders to reduce digital distractions. Pre-work rituals. Create a short routine before starting deep work. This might include meditation, deep breathing, reviewing goals, or a quick warm-up task. When done consistently, the brain begins to associate this ritual with focused effort, making it easier to enter deep concentration. For those who struggle with distractions, 2 specialized methods can help. Monastic deep work. Completely eliminate all shallow work for long stretches of time, focusing entirely on a single important task. Bimodal deep work. Alternate between blocks of deep work and lighter tasks, balancing focus with necessary administrative work. Both approaches protect mental energy and enhance cognitive performance. Overcoming mental resistance. The discipline of sustained focus. Even with the best strategies, deep work requires mental discipline and the ability to push past resistance. A common challenge is boredom. In a world full of instant gratification, many people struggle to stay engaged with hard tasks without reaching for distractions. Training your brain to tolerate boredom is essential. Ways to build this tolerance include gradually increasing the length of focus sessions, avoiding unnecessary digital stimulation, practicing patience-driven activities like reading or writing by hand. Another challenge is mental fatigue. Since deep work is mentally demanding, rest and recovery are crucial. The brain, like a muscle, needs time to recharge. To restore mental energy, prioritize strategic breaks, quality sleep, deliberate relaxation. Physical activities like exercise, time in nature, and mindfulness practices can also improve focus and make deep work sessions more effective. The ultimate key to deep work. In the end, deep work isn't just about tools or techniques. It's about making a long-term commitment to focused thinking. Mastering this discipline unlocks exceptional productivity, creativity, and personal fulfillment. Deep work and lasting productivity. Productivity is not just about effort, but about setting clear goals, tracking progress, and refining your approach over time. People who commit to deep work gain a strong advantage over those stuck in cycles of distraction and shallow tasks. In a world full of distractions, the ability to focus deeply has become a superpower, the foundation of achievement, creativity, and mastery. By understanding how the brain focuses, using structured work rituals, and pushing through mental resistance, individuals unlock their true intellectual potential. Deep work isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter. Those who master this skill produce high-quality results in less time, freeing themselves from the fatigue of constant task switching. In today's noisy world, Those who can engage in deep work stand out, producing work that is meaningful, impactful, and enduring. Chapter 14. The Legacy of the 5 a.m. Habit. Sustaining lifelong transformation. The power of daily discipline. The journey of waking up at 5 a.m. is not just about getting up early. It's about living intentionally, building discipline, and pursuing constant self-improvement. What begins as a morning routine becomes a transformative force, reshaping one's entire life. The real goal isn't the early hour itself, but the excellence and clarity that follow. Over time, the compound effect of this habit builds a powerful legacy of success. Waking up at 5 a.m. builds a mindset of self-control and mastery. It trains the mind to choose action over comfort, responsibility over excuses, and progress over procrastination. Rising early, even when tired, develops mental resilience, endurance, and strength. This discipline spills into every area of life, impacting your decisions, work ethic, goals, and even your relationships and career. Someone who masters their morning soon begins to master their entire life. The ripple effect of early discipline, the 5 a.m. habit, doesn't only change individuals, it transforms families, communities, and organizations. When one person lives with consistency and purpose, it inspires others to rise higher. Leaders who rise early set the standard for their teams. Entrepreneurs who practice discipline drive innovation. Parents who model commitment raise strong, focused children. The true power of this habit lies not in personal achievement, but in the legacy it creates, one that can inspire future generations. The psychology of long-term habit sustainability. Many people begin new habits with enthusiasm but struggle to stick with them. The key to lasting transformation isn't just motivation. It's about shifting your identity. I am someone who wakes up early, creating reinforcement systems, and forming a deep emotional connection to your purpose. When built the right way, the 5 a.m. habit becomes part of who you are, not just something you do temporarily. One effective technique is habit stacking, linking your new habit, waking at 5 a.m., to existing routines. For example, wake up, hydrate, exercise, journal, begin focused work. This chain of actions reduces decision fatigue and makes the routine automatic. When something becomes part of a structured sequence, it shifts from effort to second nature. Reward systems, celebrating progress. To stay consistent, it's crucial to celebrate small wins. The human brain craves instant gratification, which can make long-term goals feel hard to maintain. To overcome this, track progress, set milestones, and create reward systems that reinforce consistency. Sustaining the 5 a.m. habit. Rewards, purpose, and resilience. 1. Reinforcing the habit with rewards. As productivity and well-being improve over time, the brain starts associating early rising with positive outcomes. This reinforcement makes the habit more deeply rooted. Celebrating progress, even small wins, helps the habit become emotionally satisfying. 2. Connecting habits to a purpose. People who stick with powerful habits long-term do so because their routines are tied to a deep personal reason. Those who wake up early out of obligation often struggle, but those driven by legacy, financial freedom, or a desire to make an impact build unshakable commitment. How to bounce back from setbacks. 3. Perfection is not the goal. Resilience is. Even the most disciplined face challenges, travel, illness, stress, or shifting priorities. Success isn't about never missing a day. It's about quickly recovering and resuming the routine. Avoid the all-or-nothing mindset. Missing a few mornings doesn't erase your progress. 4. Focus on the bigger pattern. Consistency is about long-term rhythm, not flawless execution. What truly matters is the ability to recommit with energy and focus after a lapse. Flexibility ensures longevity. 5. Adapting the habit to life's changes. Life evolves. Routines should too. Instead of clinging rigidly to one version of the 5 a.m. habit, stay anchored to the core principles: early start, intentional action, and personal growth. Adjust wake-up times if needed while preserving the structure of your morning success routine. 6. Build a supportive environment, surround yourself with like-minded people, join accountability groups, partner with a mentor, or share goals with supportive friends. People who maintain this habit long-term often build environments that make success inevitable, not optional. Becoming the architect of your future. 7. It's not just about waking up early. The 5 a.m. habit isn't about the hour. It's about gaining control over your life. Early rising gives you a head start, but what truly matters is how you use that time. 8. Mornings as a space for mastery. The early hours are a sacred space for self-improvement, creativity, and focused execution. The most successful people use mornings to plan strategically, refine skills, pursue meaningful work, and build long-term momentum. 9. Compounding impact over time. When practiced consistently, the results multiply: increased energy, sharper decisions, greater clarity, deeper fulfillment. The final transformation: designing a life of excellence. 10. The real legacy of the 5 a.m. habit. This habit teaches you that success comes from daily choices, not luck. It's about ownership, intentionality, and structured discipline. Those who embrace this mindset don't wait for opportunities, they create them. 11. Mastering life through morning discipline. The ultimate challenge isn't just to wake up early, it's to bring the same focus, discipline, and clarity into every area of life: health, relationships, career, and personal growth. 12. Leaving a lasting legacy. This journey isn't about mornings alone. It's about building a life that's meaningful and lasting. The one who rises early rises with purpose. They lead with clarity, and leave behind a legacy that inspires generations. So friends, these were some of the most powerful insights from Deep Work, a book that can completely transform the way you focus, think, and create. If you found this episode helpful, do like, share, and subscribe to the channel Splendor for more inspiring content. And if you'd like to listen to the complete audiobook in Hindi, just click the link in the description. With a new book, fresh ideas, and stronger habits, I'll see you in the next episode. Till then, keep learning, keep growing.